Rashmina, Mamardin Afghani. Rashmina woke to the sound of singing. We are Afghan people. We are Afghans of the mountains. It was pitch black, and Rashmina couldn't see, but she knew she would know the sound of her grandmother's voice anywhere. The song she was singing, Mamardin Afghani, was one of Anna's favorites. Ears ringing, dust clogging her mouth and throat, Rashmina crawled toward the sound. She found her grandmother lying on the ground, half covered by the door of an old Soviet truck. I figured if I kept singing, someone would find me, Grandmother rasped. Rashmina pulled the door off her. Are you all right, Anna? I may have a broken bone or two, she admitted. Just let me lie here, Mina-Jan. Rashmina's heart skipped a beat. Her grandmother was as stubborn as a donkey when it came to doctors. She claimed she had never been sick in her life, but Rashmina knew she didn't like to make trouble. She might be lying there without a leg right now, and she wouldn't even admit it. Rashmina patted her grandmother's body just to be sure. Stop fussing, Anna groused. Rashmina heard whining and crying in the darkness. Her brother, Zaire, he was alive. Hush, Rashmina's mother said, her voice heavy. Anna, keep singing. More, Rashmina cried. She wanted to go to her mother, but where was she? Rashmina's grandmother sang Mamardin Afghani again, and Rashmina heard the sound of people crawling to them through the scraps of the old Soviet metal that had been scattered by the blast. First came her mother and Zaire, then Marzia. As Rashmina hugged her family, more people found them. An old couple from next door, a young girl from further up the steps, Taz, too. For a little while, everyone was too dazed to move or speak. Anna finished her song, and things grew deathly, oppressively quiet. They couldn't even feel vibrations anymore from the fighting up above. Is everyone all right? Taz asked at last. What's happened? I still can't see. I don't know, Rashmina told him. We can't see either. It's completely dark. Wait, she remembered. The flashlight. Thank God. She had put it in her pocket before the explosion. She put her hand in her pocket, but when she touched the flashlight, a sharp pain shot through her palm and she gasped. What is it, Mina-Jan? Moore asked in Pashto. What's wrong? Taz asked in English. Rashmina pulled the flashlight out with her hand and clicked it on. Everyone squinted again in the bright light, even Taz a little. Hey, I can see that, Taz said. Not great, but I can see a dull glow. I think my eyes are getting better. Rashmina shined the light on her hand. There was a deep gash across her right palm. It must have happened when part of the ceiling caved in. I have a bad cut on my hand, Rashmina told her mother, and then translated for Taz. Rashmina's mother started to tear a piece of cloth from her tunic for a bandage. Wait, I have some Kerlix, Taz told them. Rashmina didn't know that word, but it was some kind of bandage Taz carried in his pockets. He told her how to use it, and he pushed the gauze into her cut with a hiss of pain. Sorry, he told her. The stuff is good, but if it cuts you deep, you may end up with a scar. See? I've got one too. He held out his hand to show her. He had a long, dirty scar in almost the same place on his palm. It still aches every now and then, when it's cold and gloomy outside. But most of the time, Taz paused as though he was saying, brought back a painful memory for him. But most of the time, you just forget it's there. Some of the others in the cave had injuries too. Rashmina did what she could to help them with the bandages Taz had given her. Where are all the other people? Rashmina's mother asked. There were a lot more of us before. Rashmina turned the flashlight toward the front of the cave, where there had once been a large open cavern filled with old Soviet equipment. Now there was just a pile of rocks. The whole front half of the ceiling had caved in. Rashmina explored the rockfall, looking for a way through. She stopped when she saw the legs of some poor soul sticking out from under a boulder, the rest of the woman's body crushed in the cave. Crushed like all the other people who had been with them in the cave. And there was no way through. The fallen rocks covered everything. They've killed us, Rashmina thought. Everyone we know and love. Moore was right. I brought death to our village, and I brought Taz into our home. She cried silently. She had chosen what was right over what was easy. She had dared to be someone new, someone better, to carve a path for herself. and look at where it had gotten her, buried with her family in a grave of her own making. Rashmina quickly swept the light away so no one else could see the body. Is it bad? Taz asked. Rashmina felt the anger of 100 souls well up inside her and turned on the American soldier. Is it bad? She said. Yes, it's bad. There's only one entrance to this cave, and now we're trapped. We're trapped, and all those other people who were in here with us are dead. Rashmina picked up the rock from the ground and hurled it at Taz. He still couldn't see very well, but he heard the rock strike the wall behind him, and he flinched. Rashmina picked up another stone and threw it at him, hitting the arm. Hey, what? He started to ask. We're trapped, and they're all dead, and it's all your fault, Rashmina yelled at him. It wasn't her fault for dreaming. It was his fault for being there. But I didn't. You and all the other Americans, Rashmina told him. She threw another rock that clanged off an old Soviet hubcap. Why don't you just get out of Afghanistan? All you're doing is killing us. We're trying to fix things, Taz argued. Things you broke to begin with, Rashmina told him. We're building wells, roads, schools, Taz said. Probably the school you go to. You killed my sister, Rashmina cried. Taz looked horrified. I what? How? When? Not you, your country, Rashmina said. She was crying now, big wet tears fed by horrible things that had happened 2 years ago and today. You bombed my sister. She died. So many of our friends died too. I'm sorry, Taz told her. I really am. But we're fighting a war against the Taliban. Sometimes innocent people get hurt. We're trying to help. Rashmina burned inside. Was this anger what Passoon felt all the time? The fury that had pushed him to join the Taliban. You can help us by leaving, Rashmina told Taz. My village was never bombed until the Americans came. We have to be here. Do you know the first thing that will happen if the U.S. leaves Afghanistan? There will be another civil war, and the Taliban will take over again. You're too young to remember, Rashmina, but they did awful things. They are bad, bad people. I know all about the Taliban, Rashmina told him. I know how awful they are. Well, if we leave you, you'll be right back where you started before we got here. But your drones kill as many of us as them, Rashmina said. She held up her injured hand. You bandage our wounds and you want us to say thank you, but you're the reason we're hurt. Taz was quiet for a moment. If we can just beat the Taliban, get Afghanistan back on its feet, give you a chance to grow. Rashmina remembered the cedar cone in the graveyard and the graves from the previous wars. All those invaders who had swept to victory with their superior weapons, only to be driven out again by Afghan fighters. You say you have been here for 10 years, Rashmina said. Your country has been here nearly twice that long, and you still haven't won. You never will. Nobody can rule Afghanistan, not even the Afghans. So I ask you again, why are you here? Taz looked away without answering. Zahir, come back here. Come away from here, Rashmina's mother called. Rashmina shined the flashlight in her little brother's direction. All she could see was his legs sticking out from under a rock. For a horrible moment, she thought Zahir had been buried like the lady at the front of the cave. But Zahir had just had his head in a hole in the wall, a crack that had opened up during the cave-in. Marzia and Mother were able to drag the curious 2-year-old out by his ankles. Rashmina examined the hole with her flashlight and she gasped. What is it? What's under there? Asked a woman standing nearby. Rashmina felt a tiny spark of hope rekindle in her chest and she turned excitedly to the others. It might be another way out.